All right, guys. Today we finally have two of the six start decks revealed. We got Purple Black Luffy and we got Black Teach. Probably two of the more exciting ones, I think, for most people. Granted, I think all six of these decks are extremely exciting and every single one of them has the potential to shake up the meta. And what we can expect because these two got revealed today, probably come Monday and Tuesday, just because I don't know if Bandai does reveals over weekends, we can expect Shanks and Buggy to be released at the same time because they kind of share a similar theme of being on the same pirate crew before. And then we can expect Bonnie and Yamato to be revealed. I don't know which one's going to come first, but, take your pick. It's a 50-50 at that point. But the nice things with these start decks is each one will have 5 brand new cards, 2 of them being SRs. So you can expect the quality to hopefully be pretty high. I know prior, if you look at Katakuri and Uta kind of had a miss, Katakuri kind of had a miss. But aside from that, the other decks were relatively decent. And with these decks here today, they got some crazy cards that are, I don't know if they'll be top of the meta, but they'll be most likely top 5 contenders each. I can't see a world where they're not top 5, maybe top 10, but the support that these cards bring for each of them is extremely good. So let's go ahead and jump into Purple Black Luffy first. This is what the entirety of the deck looks like. You got pretty much your filler purple Straw Hat cards, Giant, which is included in here, which might be a bit of a tell that this card might not be getting banned anytime soon. Who knows? It would probably be a little bit contradictory to do so. We'll see. But yeah, you got your Zoro, obviously synergizing with the leader. You have your 2Ks here. You got this card, and you got the one black card in the deck, which is Brook. Pretty much an indicator this deck is not going to lean into the removal side of things whatsoever. Probably just going to revolve around the character cost gain, and that might be the only implication of black that you'll see in a deck like this, aside from the 5 cost Star Deck 14 Sanji. But let's go ahead and jump right into the brand new cards. So we got number 1 here, we got Soba Mask. If you have a Sangoro or a Sanji character with 7 cost base power or more, give this card in your hand minus 5 cost, and then on play return all of your Sangoros or your Sanji characters to your hand. Immediately, the 2 cards that can make use of this are the 6/8 Sangoro Vanilla and then the 7 cost 7k Rush Sanji. This card can be pretty good, I think, because it's effectively a 2 cost 9k in your hand, assuming you have the setup for it, which you're cheating out a really strong body just for that. It kind of hurts that you do have to bounce one of your characters back, but it would be pretty broken if you didn't have to. The nice thing is, though, if you play against Teach and you run this card, Teach will probably shut off your on-plays. Therefore, you can play this card for 2 Dawn and still have your prior Sangoro or Sanji on board. And if you have 2 of these in hand, you're playing out 2 of those, like, you're going wide real quick with really big bodies. So I don't think this card is the worst. I don't know if Purple Black Luffy is the deck that can make the most use out of it. I kind of feel like Luffy can make the most use out of it in general, just because this card doesn't have any Dawn minusing effects for Purple Black Luffy to abuse. But you can also argue that because it's only going to cost you 2 to play out, you can play this out, and then you can just replay out the Rush Sanji to get the leader skill effect right after again. So in a world, it could combo. It could combo pretty well. But this card doesn't have counter, which I think does hurt it a little bit. If it was like a 1k, 7 cost 8k, I think it would be a little bit better. But 7/9 stat line, never bad, and it's a potential 2 cost unit in your hand, so definitely not a card to make light of. Next up, we got Tony Chopper. This card is insane. It's a 3 cost 4k with 1k counter. It's a blocker, so you have immediate defensive utility, and it's on play, Dawn -2, rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards or characters with a cost of 1 or less. This card in Purple Black Luffy specifically can be abused way more than any of the other purple decks, because you have the leader skill to effectively make this a 2 cost 4k blocker that rests a Dawn card. This can be great against Bonnie to rest the Dawn that they leave up for leader skill, but specifically in any of the Straw Hat Purple leader matchups, whether it's the Mirror, whether it's Green Purple, Blue Purple, Luffy, Robin, upcoming Sanji, being able to rest your opponent's Gum Gum Giant Dawn card is going to be insane. And I think Purple Black Luffy will be able to make the most out of this card. This card is absolutely insane. If you need to make this into an attacker, it's got a great stat line, 3/4. So just attach 1 Dawn, go from there. This card is going to be great. I can't imagine you don't run this as a 4 of, maybe a 3 of, just for spacing issues. But this card is insane, so you got to run it. I think you'll even see other purple decks running it just for the Dawn resting ability. So this card is great. Next up, we got Nico Robin, one of the 2 SRs in the deck. 3 cost 4k stat line with 2k counter. So it's a searchable 2k counter, which is great. And then on play, Dawn -2, add up to 1 Dawn card from your deck, set it as active. It's essentially another copy of the Zoro Juro. almost guaranteeing your ramp consistently. So it's a consistency factor, which is great. It's a defensive factor because it's a 2K if you don't need to play it out. But it also has a good stat line of being able to just attach one Dawn and you're already swinging. So this card is very good. I can't see you not running this as a 4 of. It's got a great effect, synergizes with the leader skill perfectly. And the nice thing is it can't really be abused by other purple Straw Hat cards, or leaders rather, because of the Dawn -2. So it's pretty much restricted to this deck for the most part. Next up, for the 4th card, we have General Frankie. 8 cost, 10k stat line. On play, Dawn -2, give up to 2 of your opponent's characters minus 2k power during this turn. I don't think this card is that great. It has a nice stat line of 810, but it doesn't have counter, which I do think hurts a fair amount. And this card also doesn't have rush. When you have a card that gives minus cost and you don't have the ability to either follow up and KO it with another card, you could argue that this card and Lightning can synergize a little bit. It's Dawn -4, but with leader skill, it's essentially Dawn -2 overall. But you can pop an 8k unit Dawn -2, and then this KO is a 6k or less. So you can pop an 8k unit, but I don't think this card is that great because you won't be able to trade out with it. If this had rush, this card would be really good because this deck doesn't necessarily get wide too often. You'll probably have about 2 characters on board before you play this, but you won't have enough Dawn left to attach to your leader and your characters to make swinging into your opponent's units, I think, that effective. So it's not the worst option, but I can't see it really being used. I think there are just too many other cards that give you more value. The last card, which is the second SR, Monkey D. Luffy, 6 costs, 7k power. On play and when attacking, Dawn -2 if your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 5 or more Dawn cards on their field, your Straw Hat type leader base power becomes 7k until the end of your opponent's next end phase. This card is insane. This card is probably exactly what this leader needed, because I think up until this point, this leader has struggled a bit defensively, being able to just get pushed down pretty easily, and then you don't have enough defense and card advantage to maintain your opponent's kind of onslaught once they set up, because you can ramp with this deck very effectively. You always have been able to, but you just haven't really had the mid game or the support to be able to balance out or stabilize. This card does exactly that. Fits into the leader skill perfectly. Your base power becomes 7k, which is pretty insane. Obviously, it's restricted to multicolored, so Ploofy is the only deck that can't make use of this, and your opponent has to have 5 or more Dawn cards on their field. So one thing to make note of is I don't think you want to go first with this deck, because you can ramp 2/6 before your opponent even hits 5 Dawn, so you wouldn't be able to play this out. But if you go second, you'll play this out on curve, and your opponent will be at 5 Dawn. So it's just something to make note of. Also, if you play into the mirror match, and your opponent plays the 10 cost Gear 5 Luffy, you won't... It'll essentially be like you're playing blue or Black Yellow Luffy, where if you have the turn reset, you'll lose the power gain. You will lose the power gain for this, since it's until the end of your opponent's next end phase, not until the start of your next turn. Just something to make note of. But yeah, this card is absolutely insane. This is going to be a guaranteed 4 of. You could potentially see this in green purple and blue purple. I don't know if you will, because the Dawn -2 is costly for those decks, and I don't know how much they want to go down and Dawn that much. Green purple, you would essentially be minusing 4 Dawn a turn, and if you do giant, you're minusing 6 a turn. Let's say like on a good day, you're having 2 Sanji puddings on board, so you're only going -4, but -4 is still a lot to do every single turn. And yeah, your leader would be an 8k in green purple Luffy because you do this effect and then you do leader skills, so you're at 8k. Blue purple Luffy probably also doesn't really need it because they don't probably want a Dawn minus early game whatsoever. Late game, maybe you could argue you play this off 9 cost Sanji, but you're already 6k base. I don't know quite how much you would do it, but it is probably usable in everything. But this card in purple black Luffy specifically, amazing, because this card against blue purple Luffy can't be outed by 9 cost Big Mom because the leader skill makes it a 7 cost. So not only against blue purple Luffy is this card good, but probably against things like Lucci makes it slightly harder to remove. Yeah, this card is nuts. Honestly, all 5 of these cards have utility. I think these 4 more than anything, but the real cards I think you look at is the Luffy, the Robin, and the Chopper. This could be good, but I think this will be more kind of techie, gimmicky, depending on what you want to do. But these cards, absolutely insane. So this deck, I think right away from this, I don't see how it's not tier 1, maybe like tier 1.5, but I can't see how it's not tier 1. It's got the ramp, it's got the card utility, you got the card advantage through the Frankie blocker. So I think this deck is looking in a really good spot. The only thing that sucks is the Secret Rare Luffy from EV. I think you'll want to run at least 2 copies of it. I think you could get away with 1. I think you could get away with 0. But optimally, you probably want 2 copies of it just because it's a really good card. And that card is super expensive now. So I'm going to try building this deck without it originally to see if I can get away with it. But if it becomes necessary, well, then it becomes necessary. But this deck looking real good. And that leads us into the next deck, which is Black Teach. So what we can see here for Black Teach, we got pretty much all of the Blackbeard cards because there's only like 10 of them in the game previously. So you pretty much have all of them included in here if you buy this, which is really nice because you pretty much just buy this and you have the deck. But what we have is these 5 cards down here. We'll start off here. Alvaro Pizarro. I'm not up to date on the show with this, so all these cards I pretty much don't know much about. But activate main. Once per turn, you may rest one of your full elite cards, aka the stage. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains 4k power during this turn, and then on KO, draw 1 card. So it's a 1 cost 1k with 1k counter. I don't think you'll run this card because I don't think there's very many scenarios where you don't want to use the stage effect to search your deck. Like, this card is absolutely insane. It's what makes the deck insane, that you get a drop 1, look at 3, pick what you need. So this card probably won't be ran. It's a nice idea. It's cool, I guess, but I can't see a scenario where you want to rest the stage rather than just use the stage. It's okay, it's not bad. But next up, we have a brand new 2k counter, Katarina Divan. You have 1 cost, 1k power, but it is a 2k counter, so it's great. Activate main, trash this character. If your leader is Blackbeard Pirates type, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1k cost during this turn. And then on KO, draw 1 card. Obviously, if you use the activate main, you won't get the on KO because you're trashing it, not KOing it. I think it's good. I can't see why you wouldn't run this card because it is a minuser. It's -1, but it's still a minuser. It's a 2k counter. I can't see why you wouldn't run this. It's very cheap to play out, and there's a lot of times, especially with the other cards that are coming in the rest of the 3 cards left, that could be used for it. So yeah, 2k counter, good effect. Probably a definite 4 of, if not a 3 of, in your 2k lineup. I don't know if your 2k lineup expands to 12 or you keep it at like 7 to 8. We'll see. I'm not a Blackbeard player, but I might become one after these cards. Who knows? One of the cards, reason being, is because of this new Kuzan. So this is one of the 2 SRs, 6 cost, 6k power, 1k counter. It is a blocker, and then on KO, play up to 1 Blackbeard Pirates type character card with a cost of 5 or less from your trash rested. The rested part is relatively important. The nice thing with this card is 1, it's a blocker, 2, it's a mid-game card. So the thing that this start deck has obviously aimed to do is really help the mid-game of Teach. You got your late game of Burgesses and 10-drop Teach, but the cards that were revealed for this start deck are very helpful for the mid-game. This Kuzan in particular can revive 5 cost Kuzan from OP10. Granted, you revive it as rested, so you have to make sure you can counter out for the Kuzan to essentially go Kuzan into Burgess or whatever, additional card that you need there. But this card is going to be absolutely great. You got defensive mid game. That way you can effectively be at higher life later in the game, almost guaranteed, which is essentially how you beat Blackbeard. Push it down enough early, get wide enough early. That way they can't comfortably play 10 cost Teach, pretty much like what you did against Katakuri back in the day with 10 cost Big Mom. This card is going to be great. I don't know if it's a 4 of. It might be like a 2 to a 3 of. I don't know. We'll see. But this card, very, very good. Super helpful for the deck. 100%. Next up, we got San Juan Wolf. 4 cost, 6k unit, 1k counter. If your leader is Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains blocker and +1 cost for every 4 cards in your trash. So a little bit different than Burgess, where he gains +1 counter. This card gains +1 cost, which is kind of nice. Although granted, I don't know how many decks can even really remove Blackbeard cards because on plays are pretty much shut off. So like Lucci doesn't even really remove too much in the Blackbeard matchup. But the second effect is on play, trash 1 card from your hand. This card is interesting. I don't know if you run it. It seems cool, but I don't think it really helps the deck accelerate its game plan in any way. Yeah, it is a blocker that is probably not removable, at least through cost. But I do think with the other cards we have revealed, I don't think you're gonna have space for this. It's not bad. I just don't think there's too much space for it. Lastly, this card is insane for 2 reasons. 1, the card art. This card art is absolutely insane, and the effect. So it's a 7 cost, 8k power. Activate main. You may rest this character. KO up to one of your opponents. KO up to 1 character with the cost of 3 or less. I don't know if this is. Does this mean you can KO your own things? I don't know. I don't know how that ruling works. You probably can't, but maybe you can. I don't know. And then on KO, add up to 1 black card from your trash to your hand. 2 things to make note of. 1, this card is not leader locked. You can run this in Lucci. You can run this in Smoker. Any black deck, you can run this in. And the fact that you can add any black card from your trash to your hand, anything that you mill in this deck, whether you're milling your 10 drops, you're milling your Burgesses, you're milling your Kuzans, this thing dies, you just get it right back to hand. This card is great. It KOs 3 costs or less. It's a 7 cost. Therefore, you're really just patching up your pre-10 cost turns so much. I don't see a world this card isn't ran as a 4 of. This card is great. I'm very much interested in playing this deck now because of the support this deck got. Also, this leader art is crazy. Absolutely crazy leader art. None of these leader arts missed, but this one is just one of the better ones for sure. But I think just going over what we're looking at here for Teach, Kuzan and Teach are patching up the mid game almost perfectly. You got the defensive application and you have the removal application. Very good. You have a new 2K counter. I think it's just straight up better than Shiryu. So you might just even just substitute this card out because now you'll have 2 cards for 1 cost that can minus your opponent's effects, essentially letting you use this even more. It's just got really good quality. Kuzan is helping you. 1, it's helping your consistency. 2, is helping your longevity. And just through those effects alone, Teach is going to be in such a stable position. I don't know how the green-purple matchup looks now because you might just still be running Liberation. I think the green-purple matchup gets a lot better with the inclusion of these cards. I don't know what the blue-purple matchup looks like, but if Lucci's going to be as popular in set 11 that it's looking like it will be, I mean, this deck will absolutely stomp Lucci. There's no question about it. So Teach looking absolutely insane. Luffy looking absolutely insane. If these 2 reveals are indicators for what the other 4 decks are looking like, hopefully they don't get the Uta and the Katakuri treatment. I'm hoping they get the Pluffy treatment. The Dofi treatment was a little much. Maybe the Pluffy treatment. These reveals, what a surprise to wake up to. But yeah, they're coming out the 6th, same day as OP11. OP11 is going to be complete mess, especially if you're in the regional in Florida on the 14th. I'm going to that myself. We're going to have a week of testing. I don't know what anything's going to look like. I'm probably going to lean pretty hard into these 2 decks testing just because I think they're super exciting. But yeah, thanks for checking out the video. I'll keep doing these kind of reveal update posts or whatever reveal update vids for the next 4 that are coming through. But yeah, look forward to those. Hopefully these are indicators for what's coming next. And yeah, I'll catch you guys around next time.